What does it take to create your own community token? Today I want to go to a project I did a while back. I'll go from idea and concept through what I did for the implementation. And I will close the video with a couple of thoughts, what I learned while doing this project. My name is Lucas, and here at the Wealthineer, we look into all things crypto, blockchain, and the metaverse. Let's start with establishing the basic idea. For a certain community, we wanted to do voting based on contribution, and the contribution should be rewarded with tokens. So in the end, what we were looking for was a token-weighted voting system. Up until this point, most of the decisions for this community were made by a council, but this council wanted to involve the members of the community more and encourage participation and wanted to give them a means to vote. So what's the basic concept, how that should be achieved? Contribution will be recorded off-chain. Calculations would be made how this contribution would transfer into a certain amount of tokens each month based on an algorithm agreed upon by the community upfront. Tokens should be not transferable because the only way to get them should be through contribution. The only exception from this should be in the case that someone leaves that community, then this person's tokens and therefore voting rights should be distributed to the other members. Those tokens then should be used for a token-weighted voting system. So depending on how much you contributed, how many tokens you got, you have a bigger weight in the decision-making process. Finally, once the decision is made, the council will execute on it. So there's no on-chain execution required for this case. To summarize, we want to record the contribution off-chain. We then issue tokens depending on the contribution. In the end, those tokens will be used to vote on decisions for this community. So how did the implementation go? First, I took an ERC20 contract from the Open Zeppelin library, added the access control module to it, and added on top 3 different additional roles on top of the default admin: minter role, burner role, and transfer role. Minter and burner should be pretty obvious because, not everyone should be able to mint and burn the tokens. That should just be allowed to a select few people. But the transfer role is basically for the requirement that usually you should not be able to transfer your tokens, but if you leave the community, there needs to be a way to distribute those tokens. So there is no way to just disable the transfer function because then a person who leaves the community has no way to give back the tokens. Next step is the token-weighted voting. So to achieve this, I simply use snapshot.org, a website that offers you to set up a space, associate a certain smart contract with an ERC20 token to it, and then you can choose from different types of algorithms to do voting. And one of those algorithms is token-weighted voting. So we got right out of the box what we needed. Not much implementation needed here. Pretty easy and straightforward. So far, so good. We got a token in place. We got the voting set up. So mission accomplished, right? Not quite yet. Because what we figured out pretty quickly, it's very, very annoying if you have to sign every transaction for everyone who gets tokens. So far we can just mint to one address. That means if you have 10 people, you sign 10 transactions. If you have 100 people to distribute tokens to, you have to sign 100 transactions to do so. So I created a new smart contract with the goal to get everything done with a single transaction. So you just have to sign once. So how did I achieve that? Basically, I created a function that will take an array of addresses, an array of token amounts. so it's clear which address gets which token amount, and then I would just do all the minting from this smart contract. And so this is in a single transaction, because calling from this smart contract, the central smart contract is just a single transaction, no matter how often I call the mint functionality. To polish things and make it easier to use for people with less technical understanding, I just spun up a web UI with all the functionality like role setting, like minting, burning, transferring, and also a CSV upload that would automatically populate both the arrays. So it's not a big deal to get those set up correctly. You just do a CSV file with pairs of address amount, and the UI will just transfer that in the right input for the smart contract. So that's it for the implementation. Next up comes my lessons learned. If you liked the video so far, I would highly appreciate if you hit the like button. Thanks. So basically 3 different takeaways I want to share with you. First, smart contract libraries like OpenZeppelin are awesome. I mean, to have an audit smart contract to start from and just have to throw in a couple of extra functionality makes it so much easier and more convenient to create smart contracts. It's fantastic. Second, composability is amazing. I mean, I could separate it into 2 different smart contracts, like one purely for the ERC20 token and another one to add functionality to ease of use for handling that ERC20 token. So I didn't have to add to the ERC20 contract all the functionality we might eventually need, but I could just add functionality later on while using the base ERC20 contract with the token we issued initially. And the third thing might surprise you, because for this particular project, we never went to Ethereum mainnet, because on Ethereum mainnet, the transaction cost would have been way too high because there was not much money involved, and therefore having huge transaction costs each month to issue the tokens would just not be sustainable. So we decided for this particular project, where we have the recording of the contributions off-chain, where we have the execution off-chain, so there's enough control over there if something goes wrong in the middle that we can fix that. So we decided to stay on Robson testnet because there are no transaction fees, because Robson ETH is just for free. But on the same time, the snapshot.org page supports Robson testnet, so we could do the token voting there. And as no one would be able to trade the tokens anyway, there was no reason to go to a chain that would give liquidity to trading the token and stuff like that. So as there was no monetary value intended for this token, we were perfectly fine staying on testnet. So, I mean, for a small community where there's not much at stake, it might be an option to just stay on testnet and just try things out, run it for a couple of weeks, months, if it's enough, maybe even years. Why not? Sure, it's not safe, but if it's not a big deal if something goes wrong, for a small community of friends, or you just want to experiment with stuff, testnets are a great way to work with. So what do you think? Was it as complex as you thought it would be? Let me know in the comments below. That's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon that you never miss another video from me. And I'm looking forward to see you in the next video. Bye.